Yehovah Eloheinu Svaot, Kadosh, 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 please fill me and lead me and cover me with the Ruach HaKodesh, that I may speak your written words with boldness to those who listen. I ask all these things in Yeshua HaMashiach's name. Amen. We'll start with the Shema. Listen and obey. Children of Yehovah, pay careful attention and respond. Yehovah is our power and authority. Yehovah works in unity with himself, and you shall act upon your love to Yehovah with your power and authority, with your thoughts in mind, with your entire body, and with all the muchness that you have. Yod, He, Vav, He. Hand, behold, nail, behold. Judges chapter 7. Then Yerubbaal, that is Gideon, and all the people with him got up early and set up camp by En Harod. The camp of Midian was north of them by Givat Mori in the valley. Yehovah said to Gideon, "There are too many people with you for me to hand Midian over to them, because I don't want Israel to be able to boast against me. We saved ourselves by our own strength. Therefore, proclaim to the people, anyone who is anxious or afraid should go back home, while we stay here on Mount Gilead. 22,000 returned, but 10,000 remained." Yehovah said to Gideon, "There are still too many people. Have them come down to the water, and there I will screen them for you. If I say of anyone, 'This one is for you,' he will go with you, and if I say, 'This one is not for you,' he won't go with you." So he brought the people down to the water, and Yehovah said to Gideon, "Put to one side everyone who laps up water with his tongue the way a dog does, and put to the other side everyone who gets down on his knees to drink." Therefore 300 lapped, putting their hand to their mouth. All the rest of the men got down on their knees to drink water. Yehovah said to Gideon, "I will use the 300 men who lapped the water to save you. I will hand Midian over to you. Let all these others go back home." So they took the provisions and the shofars and the people. Then he sent all the men of Israel away, each to his tent. But the 300 men he kept. The captain of Midian was in the valley below him. That night Yehovah said to him, "Get up and attack the camp, because I have handed it over to you. But if you are afraid to attack, go down with your servant Purah. And after you hear what they are saying, you will have the courage to attack the camp." So with his servant Purah, he went down to the outpost of the camp. Now Midian, Amalek, and all the others from the east had settled in the valley as thick as locusts. Their camels, too, were beyond counting, like the sand on the seashore. Gideon got there just as a man was telling a comrade about a dream he had had. "I just now dreamt that a loaf of barley bread fell into the camp of Midian, came to the tent, and struck it so hard that it overturned the tent and knocked it flat." His comrade answered, "This can only be the sword of Gideon, son of Joash, the man of Israel. God has given Midian and all its army into his hands." When Gideon heard the dream and its interpretation, he fell on his knees in worship. Then he returned to the camp of Israel and said, "Get up, because Yehovah has handed Midian's army over to you." He divided the 300 men into 3 companies. He put in the hands of all them shofars and empty pitchers with torches in them. Then he said to them, "Watch me and do what I do. When I get to the edge of the camp, whatever I do, you do the same. When I and everyone with me blow the shofar, then you blow your shofars all around the whole camp and shout, 'For Yehovah and for Gideon.'" Gideon and the 300 men with him arrived at the edge of the camp a little before midnight, just after they had changed the guard. They blew the shofars and broke in pieces the pitchers that were in their hands. All 3 companies blew the shofars, broke the pitchers, and held the torches in their left hands, keeping their right hands free for the shofars. They were blowing, and they shouted, "The sword for Yehovah and for Gideon." Then every man stood still in place around the camp. The whole camp was thrown into panic, with everyone screaming and trying to escape. Gideon's men blew their 300 shofars, and Yehova caused everyone in the camp to attack his comrades. An enemy fled beyond Beit Shittah, near Zerah, as far as the border of Evel Mecholah by Tabat. Then men of Israel were summoned from Naphtali, Asher, and both regions of Manasseh, and they pursued Midian. Gideon sent messengers through all the hills of Ephraim with the message, "Come down and attack Midian, and capture the rivers before they get there, as far as Beit Barah, and also the Yarden." So all the men of Ephraim came together and seized the rivers as far as Beit Barah and the Yarden. They also captured 2 chiefs of Midian, Orev and Zeev. They put Orev to death on the rock of Orev and Zeev at Zeev's wine press. Then, as they kept pursuing Midian, they brought the heads of Orev and Zeev to Gideon, who had crossed the far side of the Yarden. How can we learn to love our Creator after reading this awesome chapter 7 of Judges? We can aim to be one of the few Yehova uses for his glory. Listen to Yehova for instructions. Trust that it is by the power of Yehova that your enemies are handed over to you. Aim to boast in the power of Yehova. Proclaim that there is salvation in the name of Yehova alone. Aim to place your full trust in Yehova alone. Trust that Yehova is the ultimate screener of your life, choosing who should stay and who should go. Aim to be one of the 300. Fight when Yehova says to. Have courage to fight for Yehova. Know that Yehova uses dreams to tell you a story. When you hear the truth, fall down on your knees and worship. Proclaim the word of Yehova with those on the battlefield. Do as your leaders do. Obey the written words of Yehova. Proclaim your life for Yehova. Trust in Yehova. How can we love others as Yeshua loves us? We can proclaim that salvation is found in Yehova alone. Bear one another's burdens. We can aim to be set apart and one of the 300 Yehova uses. Produce spiritual fruit, love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, humility, self-control. We'll end with the Aaronic blessing using the name. Yehova will kneel before you presenting gifts, and he will guard you with a hedge of protection. Yehova will illuminate the wholeness of his being towards you, bringing order, and he will provide you with love, sustenance, and friendship. Yehova will lift up the wholeness of his being and look upon you, and will set in place all you need to be whole and complete.